Next is self-reflectiveness. Self-reflectiveness is what by Bandura is according to by Bandura, people are examiners of their own functioning. They can think about and evaluate their motivations, values, and their meanings of their life goals, and they can think adequacy of their own thinking. They can also evaluate the effect that other people's actions have on them. People's most crucial self-reflective mechanism is self-efficacy. That is their belief that they are capable of performing actions that will produce a desired effect. Um, Self-reflectiveness gives the people the ability to reflect on their thoughts and behaviors and make changes as needed. So, with self-reflectiveness, we evaluate ourselves para matingnan if yung ginagawa natin na steps or yung process natin sa pagkamit ng intention is effective pa ba or hindi. With self-reflectiveness, we can see kung ano yung mga dapat, kung may dapat bang ulitin or if okay na ba yung steps na yun sa pagkamit ng ng nung intention. So, now let us tackle what self-efficacy is. Bandura defines self-efficacy as people's belief in their in their capability to exercise some measures of control over their own functioning and over environmental events. Efficacy refers to people's confidence that they have the ability to perform certain behaviors, whereas an outcome expectancy refers to one's prediction of the likely consequences of that behavior. Outcome must not be confused with successful accomplishment of an act. It refers to the consequences of behavior, not the completion of the act itself. Bandura contends that efficacy beliefs are foundations of human agency. People who believe that they can do something that has the potential to alter environmental events are more likely to act and more likely to be successful than those with low self-efficacy. So how people act in particular situation depends on the reciprocity of behavioral, environmental, and cognitive conditions, especially those cognitive factors that relate to their beliefs that they can and or cannot execute the behavior necessarily to produce desired outcomes on any particular situation. So, baka natatanong niyo kung pareho lang ba ang self-efficacy at confidence. So to answer that, self-efficacy is not a global or generalized concept such as self-esteem or self-confidence. People can have high self-efficacy in one situation and low efficacy in another. Self-efficacy varies from situation to situation depending on the competencies required to different activities. Example, the presence or absence of the people, the perceived competence of of their other people, especially they if they are competitors, the person's predisposition to attend to failure of performance rather than to success, and the accompanying physiological states, particularly the presence of fatigue, anxiety, apathy, and despondency. So, what contributes to self-efficacy? Personal efficacy is acquired, enhanced, or decreased through any one or combination of four sources. So these four sources are the mastery of experience, wherein successful performance raise efficacy expectancies, failure tends to lower them. Next is the social modeling. Our self-efficacy is raised when we observe Accomplishment of another person of equal competence but is lower than we see a peer fail. Social persuasion, the effects of this source are limited, but under proper conditions, persuasion from other can raise or lower the self-efficacy. Lastly, physical and emotional states. Strong emotion ordinarily lowers performance. When people experience intense fear, anxiety, or high levels of stress, they are likely to have lower efficacy expectancies. So, with each method, information about oneself and environment is cognitively processed, and together with recollections of previous experiences, altered perceived self efficacy. Now, let's tackle the modes of human agency. There are three modes of human agency. First, the personal efficacy, which yung self-efficacy kanina. Next is the proxy efficacy and the collective the proxy agency and then the collective agency. So first, proxy agency. Um, Proxy involves indirect control over those social conditions that affects everyday living. Bandura noted that no one has time, energy, and resources to master every realm of everyday life. Successful functioning necessarily involves a blend of reliance on proxy agency in some areas of functioning. In modern American society daw, according to Bandura, people would be nearly helpless if they relied solely on personal accomplishment to regulate their lives. Most people do not have personal capabilities to um, repair their air conditioner, a camera, or an automobile. Through proxy agency, however, they can accomplish their goal by relying on other people to repair these objects. So they influence others who have resources, knowledge, and means to act on their behalf to secure the outcomes they decide. Of course, it is not always great. Proxy has its downside. By relying too much on their competence and power of others, people may weaken their sense of personal and collective efficacy. So next is collective agency. Collective agency is the shared beliefs in of people in their collective power to produce desired outcomes. The confidence the confidence people that have with their combined efforts will bring about group accomplishments. So Bandura suggested two techniques for measuring collective efficacy. The first is to combine individual members' evaluation of their personal capabilities to enact behaviors that benefit the group. The second proposed by Bandura is to measure the confidence each person has in the group's ability to bring about desired outcome. Um, so these two slightly different approaches to collective efficacy call for separate measuring techniques. Collective efficacy does not spring from a collective mind but rather from the personal efficacy of many individuals working together. A group's collective efficacy, however, depends not only on the knowledge and skills of its individual members, but also on their belief that can work together in coordinated and interactive fashion. Bandura, um, um, here are, I'm sorry, here are examples of collective efficacy. So voting, initiative for lowering greenhouse gases, avoiding the spread of pandemic, and etc. So that is all for my report on Bandura's social cognitive theory and agentic perspective. I will end this presentation with one of Bandura's famous lines. Self-belief does not necessarily ensure success, but self-disbelief assuredly spawns failure. So I hope you have learned something from my presentation. Thank you everyone for listening.